Hi everyone, I am Christina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a switcheroo on you guys, and I'm going to be doing a demo of this game called Cupid. So I actually have quite a few Amnesia videos recorded. I just need to edit them. But I'm lazy. I also have this weirdness about me where I have to have like variety in things. And every time that I look at my YouTube channel, like the main part of my YouTube channel, it's just amnesia. The same thumbnail. It's bugging me. Just a little bit. Anyways, so a little bit of a backstory here. This game is actually on Steam currently in the green light section, and all they need is just some yeses for them to come over to Steam. So I'll put the link down below, and that link will also have like the demo that you guys can even play for yourself. The art is absolutely breathtaking. I loved the art when I first saw it. Yeah. I love you. I'm gonna try to be a serious, do a serious voice here. Just have to turn my volume down. It's a little loud. Is this supposed to be a guy or a girl? Oh well. I love you. 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 There's no need to explain. It's only natural. A mother loves her daughter more than anything else in the world. Okay. Alright, got my character here. He hates you, doesn't he? The whole lot of them despise you, don't they? Chasing you into the forest and gouging a hole into your leg. A little bit of a thing here is that I actually don't know what's going on in this at all. I just kind of downloaded it because I liked the art style, and it was a free game, so hey. All because you smiled at their husbands. Well, maybe she shouldn't have been smiling at their husband. And you know what? You deserve it. You freak. What the heck? You disgustable. What is that? You disgusting, horrible, filthy little girl. Didn't I tell you to stay away from them? You never listen. Serves you right for being the dirty girl you are. But you don't have to worry, my darling. What is this? Is she crazy? But you don't have to worry, my darling. It's all right. Even if the whole world wishes you dead, I promise you this. Your mother will always be by your side. Ooh. Ooh. The sounds are so three-dimensional. Ahem. My goodness, child, whatever has happened to you? Ooh, ouch. A girl was slumped in the doorway, soaked by the rain. Her legs were covered in dirt and blood. She lifted her head upon hearing the priest's voice and stared at him with blank eyes. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. She hobbled forwards, her bloodied leg giving way. Automatically, the priest rushed forward to steady her. Years of spiritual training has prepared him for the most unexpected guests to his church. Am I recording? Hold up. Okay, I'm recording. Good. Jeez. Okay. He sprung into action. He ushered her to a pew. A pew? A pew? Sorry. I don't know. I'm not religious, so... Brought out some clean cloth and antiseptic, and began to bandage the wound on her leg. Yet throughout all this, he found he couldn't take his eyes off of her. He would be gazing at the roll of bandages in his hand, deciding how to tie them. And then, out of nowhere, he would be staring into her eyes. Even with all the mud and grime smeared across her face. Ew. It's weird. He couldn't deny that she was absolutely beautiful. How old was she? 20? 18? 16? Her face was so young. The priest had long since aged past his desire for the opposite sex, but somehow, something about her enraptured him. When he realized his own thoughts, he quickly steered his mind toward other matters. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Priest, you can't be doing that. My child, what happened to you? I'm trying to be manly here. She seemed to take all the time in the world before responding. He looked at me. He looked at me, and he touched me. And then he started to kiss me. Oh gosh. Please don't be awkward. I don't like being awkward. At first the priest didn't understand. Then he realized with a jolt of anger what she meant. It was happening more and more often nowadays. The young men of France these days were spirited, uncontrollable ruffians. A lady walking home by herself one night would be prey to a few number of them. Lust. One of the 7 deadly sins. The one that the priest personally despised the most. Furrowing his brow in sorrow, the priest laid a hand on her thigh. Should you be touching her thigh, mister? Mister! You are safe now, child. God's house is a sanctuary for the faithful. I don't think he'll protect me. He looked at her in confusion. She couldn't kill him. You see, Father, I have sinned again. She couldn't kill him. Right there among the pews, before the altar of God, she bowed her head. I'm sorry. Was she apologizing to him or to someone else? Her hair hid her face and her eyes, and the priest could make neither head nor tail of her. He suddenly realized that his hand was still on her thigh, and he hurriedly drew it away. I'm sorry. She repeated this phrase over and over. She's totally gonna kill him. After a while, the priest got up. Don't fret, child. You are not to blame. I will contact the local constable, but in the meantime you are free to make yourself at home here. I will fetch you a hot drink. He patted her head and left her to go to the back room. She remained seated on the pew, her head bent forward. As the priest's footsteps faded away, the entire church fell into silence. Now that it was the dead of the night, the clouds covered the sky. Barely a silver of moonlight filtered through the stained glass. The girl sat alone in a ring of darkness. She opened her mouth. No, I know. If I may say my piece, surely. Yes. Yes, Mother. But he is so very kind. Oh, see? She's gonna kill him. Oh, I'm the mother? Haven't you learned your lesson, idiot? I fear for your safety. Child, follow Mother's words and leave. You saw the look in his eyes, didn't you? You cannot stay here. Even a man of God can stain you with the filthiest colors. Be a good girl and follow Mother's words. But it is cold outside, Mother. The rain has not let up. Can't I stay? Ooh, jeez. I shouldn't be drinking Coke. Alright. I mean, I don't think that the priest would do anything. Hope not. We'll say, alright. I suppose you can. But you must be wary of everyone in this church. Do you understand? You are so weak, my darling. You give my heart so much pain. I'm sorry, Mother. I will try my best to stay out of trouble. How am I going to mind you like this? You attract so much misfortune everywhere you go. My poor child. Why would you do that? It's mean. But, oh. I didn't mean to do that. My stupid little girl. Always a blight, aren't you? Whatever will you do without me? I'm sorry, Mother. Thank you for always guiding me. It is all my fault. The girl sat in silence. Mother was right after all. She was always right. Everything was her fault. Her fist shook with a mixture of fear and conviction. She had to do penance. Mother, give me strength. There is something I wish to do. The girl rose from the pew. In front of her was the altar, and on top of the altar was an ornately decorated cross. It was as wide as her head, and the tip of the cross had been crafted such that it was razor sharp. Sorry, I'll move my mouse. She left the pew, knelt briefly, and then walked over to the altar. Don't tell me. You're quite sure you're doing this? The girl's arm trembled ever so slightly. What other way is there for me to atone? She picked up the cross. Oh, my darling daughter. Mother is proud of you. Is she crazy? This girl's crazy. Slowly, she brought the sharp end close to her face, so close that it hovered just above her left eye. And then, she... Ooh. Oh my. It's just... okay. That was very graphic. A scruffy young girl in tattered clothes peeked through the open gates of the Chateau du Sommiel. I don't know. An afternoon couture, I don't know how to pronounce that, was being held in its gardens. People from high-class estates strolled around the manicured gardens while chatting loudly with one another. There were beautiful ladies clad in silk and velvet, their necks adorned with pearls and jewels. A variety of food was displayed on the tables. The girl stared at the food. She hadn't eaten properly for the past few days. Are you hungry, child? Are you hungry, my dear? Yes, Mother. Don't you worry. Mother will provide. Mother knows best. It just reminds me a little bit of Rapunzel. You do not need those high-class foods anyway. They will upset your stomach. Now we've stayed long enough. Let us leave. Surely we can look around for a bit. It's still a little early. There was something else that called to her, other than the party itself. This is kind of loud, though. Hold on. She walked to and fro from the gates, peeking at the crowd, despite the urging of her mother to leave. Just a tiny glance would be enough. The girl smiled at the thought of him. The owner of the chateau, the Marquis de Gaulle. The girl was drawn to him. He wasn't the same as the other people. He seemed different, somehow. He was kind to her, and would always hand her food when she delivered flowers. Her heart felt at ease with him. He is the same as everyone. Greedy. Insatiable. Maybe not for you, but for someone else. Or for something else. But he is a kind man, Mother. Don't let his kindness fool you. Sweetest tongue hides sharpest tooth, child. She bit her lip. Why do you even bother with him? He makes me feel that there are still good people in the world, Mother. I suppose this mom's supposed to be cynical. But it is hard to say. Of course, dear. We do not know the real intentions people have. One can hope one can hope that real charity exists. But even good people will always put their needs first. Even your precious Marquis. Don't you think I'm a good person, Mother? Of course I do, child. You're special. Haven't I raised you as such? I have tried my best, my dearest. Yes, Mother. You keep me right. I love you. The girl stared at her shoes and looked around for a bit, hoping for just a glance before she left. I keep on dragging my mouse. Oh, that's right, because I have to click on stuff. Duh. And there he was. There was no harm in looking, she reasoned. She would never enter the Marquis's world. Let her heart be filled with hope. He turned his eyes in her direction. Did he smile at her? The girl's heart stopped. Did he recognize her? She beamed. My, is this creature deaf as well as dumb? It might be, poor thing. Mademoiselle! A voice called to the Rose Girl. She gasped. It seemed that somebody else had noticed her presence. She turned to leave. No, my dear. Poor little creature, don't run away. Charlotte, she stinks, don't touch her. Came to crash the party, little urchin. You hungry? Her stomach gave a low grumble. She was always hungry, it seemed, no matter how much or how little she ate. Encouraged by the kindness that Marquis had shown her, the girl approached the woman. The woman. That was weird. The women, I mean to say. She teetered towards the table. What are you selling? Look at this poor creature. Is she selling roses? These are all ugly ones. But not as appealing as the rags she is covering herself in. Are you trying your best to be this repulsive? Now don't be mean, Antoinette. Perhaps it's a commoner fashion nowadays. They laughed while gawking at her and her wares. And her wares, I said that weird. And her wares. Oh my, she only has one eye. Ghastly, I can't look away. The other lady nodded her head. Like a sideshow attraction, you mean? The freaks at the carnivals. She's darling in her own dirty, monstrous way. Maybe we can keep it. Hello? Well, do you want some bread, urchin? Well, speak up. Maybe her tongue is short. Add that to the list of her sterling qualities. Quiet, Antoinette. Come now, don't be shy. Do you want some food? Let us hear you speak. Yes, madam. What? Yes, madam. I would be grateful. One of the ladies clapped in mockery at her reply. Oh, she talks! The ladies handed her the bread, but it was snatched away just before her fingers grazed it. Not before you dance for us first. Ooh, make her do a handstand. I've seen one of those street people do that. Quite marvelous. Now, I'd like to see that. This party is getting quite boring. Well, come on, Mibet. I don't know how to say that. Dance for your food. The girl looked at the beautiful, cruel faces of the women. That look on them. It was a burning desire to hurt something, simply because they could. She knew that look. Before they touched her and hurt her, they had that look burning in their eyes. Oh, look what you did, Claudette. She's shivering like a leaf, the poor thing. The lady was laughing as she said those words. Sorry, I wasn't laughing. I didn't do anything. She should be grateful we're even offering her this much. Besides, these commoners are supposed to be jolly in their misery. Come on, girl, show us your joy. The girl moved away as they laughed. Mother, please save me. Mother, didn't I tell you people are cruel? Haven't I taught you this time and again? People are cruel. Now, you see it firsthand. Hey there! A child's voice called out from her behind. Oops, not from her behind. A child's voice called out from behind her. It belonged to a girl around 7, with chubby cheeks and a look of curiosity in her eyes. She wore an old blue dress, somewhat patched at the corners but kept clean and tidy. She was not rich, but she had an air as if she owned the ground she stood on. Another commoner. This party is absolutely teeming with him. The Marquis loves these things. He heard he picked them up randomly from the street. Maybe I should get me one too. I think it's fashionable abroad, in his birth country, I mean. Persia? No, I heard he was from India. Blah, blah, blah. I heard a rumor he's a bastard son of the Greek queen. Goodness, that is so far-fetched. I could barely pronounce his name, though. He really should change it to something more acceptable. Who knows what kind of demons he might attract with such a blasphemous name. It must be why there are all these nasty, horrid little creatures flock around him. Oh! Devil or not, I'll forgive him if he kisses my hand. The ladies laughed. Salope. Aren't you shameless? Don't lie. We all know why we're here. The ladies gossiped among themselves, openly ignoring the girl. The young girl took the slighting with a shrug. She approached the table and asserted her presence. What you doing? Goodness! They don't take a hint, do they? Throw something shiny, it might distract them. Hey, you've been holding that bread for a long time. Aren't you going to give it to her? She pointed at the shabby rose vendor. Why do you care? Do you want the bread for yourself? I bet she's hungry too. I know. Well, maybe you should toss the bread and see if they'll fight for it. The ladies laughed to themselves. The girl stared at them with confusion. Her brows furrowed in childlike understanding. Next thing everyone knew, she had swiped the bread from the woman's hand. Oh my! How rude! Horrible, filthy girl! Give that back! The girl sniffed the piece of bread and nibbled at the surface. Yummy! It's still warm! She shoved the bread in the urchin's face. The scrumptious scent of bread flooded the rose girl's nose. Lick it. The sugared butter tastes good. No, you devil child! Give that back! The urchin licked it. Her tongue was coated in sweetness. She stood there, squeezing the taste in her tongue. The girl grinned at her, and she couldn't help but grin back. Sorry. Here you go. It's all yours. Ugh! Disgusting! Like we're gonna eat anything that's been in your filthy mouths. Wow! So this is ours now? You ladies are so nice. Cheeky little brat. I'll have you thrown out of this party. I'll have you... A young man strode into the commotion. A sweet scent lingered as he passed. The rose girl felt her mouth well up. His presence filled her body, almost as if her hunger was abated. Her hunger. She blushed furiously. What a strange effect he had. Ladies. Oh! Guellieemee. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I just came in to check on my esteemed guests. Is everything all right? Are you enjoying yourself? One of the ladies started fanning herself with obvious annoyance. Well, these little brats have been harassing us. Oh, I said beasts. Oh well. Yes, my lord. We were just minding our own business when this girl swiped the food off of our table. Horrible little nits. The girl stuck out her tongue at them. The lady wiped her eyes in mock tears. Oh, see! Look at that! It's absolutely monstrous how these children act around adults now. There's no monsieur respect. There is no respect, monsieur. I worry for the next generation. Oh, Charlotte, don't cry. Well, my lord, we would all breathe a little easier if these children were sent on their way. Yes, who knows what kind of mischief they might be up to. They might set fire to the tables, you see. Oh. Or steal our jewelry. In fact, I think my pocket watch is missing. No. How unfortunate. One of the ladies continued her childish wailing. It is, monsieur. It's unfortunate how you allow your important guests to be treated this way. Please deal with these vermins. Throw them out now. Oh, my sweet ladies, I am stricken with grief at your misfortunes. Allow me to offer my heartfelt apologies. He looks like the beast. Unfortunately, this child is my important guest today, and you are, sad to say, poultry squatters. Excuse me? Madame Charlotte of Montpellier? I don't remember sending you an invite. Same for you, Lady Antoinette of Rennes and Lady Claudette of Lyon. Most people I invited are huge patrons of music, and this is why they're here today. They came to listen to Mademoiselle Catherine. Hold on. They came to listen to Mademoiselle Catherine Louise Perrier. I cannot. These are words that are going above my head. She is a 7-year-old piano prodigy who played for the Queen last summer. The man pointed at the girl busy chewing her half of the bread. The rose girl just stared at unfolding a situation. Well, that's... I am sure you were aware of that, were you not? No matter. I'm always happy to see you, ladies. It is my pleasure to have you here. But I hope you don't mind giving some of the food away to my townspeople. That is why I keep my gates open. My servers are instructed to serve anyone who passes by, not just my guests. But don't you fret, my darlings. There is plenty more to be served. The ladies blushed in embarrassment. One of them began to fan herself even faster. Excuse me. The Marquis walked up to the two girls. The Rose Girl's heart beat so fast it made her head feel light and dizzy. She had never been this close to him. It made her feel a mixture of fear and elation. Lady Catherine, father has been looking for you. It's almost time for your performance. The girl looked up at the Marquis and did a little curtsy. My apologies, sir. Sire, Sir? Whatever, I'm just gonna call him sir. I didn't mean to cause a clatter. Guellieemee. Hold on. We're gonna look at this. How to pronounce I'm sorry if your name is Guellieemee. What? 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 Guillaume? What? Guillaume? Is that what he's saying? I can't tell what he's saying.
Pronouncenames.com.
Uh-huh.
Guillaume.
Guillaume?
Guillaume.
Guillaume?
Guillaume.
Guillaume? Sorry, I'm a little... I don't know how to pronounce things.
Guillaume.
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 Guillaume. Guillaume. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna say Guillaume. I don't know. That's what it said. That's what it said online. Guillaume chuckled. I saw the whole thing, ma chérie. You put those ladies in their place. They were being mean to her. Guillaume narrowed his eyes at the quiet girl. She hid behind her basket of roses. She couldn't look at him directly. He was like the sun. It hurts just to be in his presence. Yet there was a relief in her heart as he stepped closer to her. I've seen you before, haven't I? The rose girl nodded and made a curtsy. I deliver roses to your house sometimes, sir. Yes. The girl with the sweetest face. The rose girl blushed. I love your roses, by the way. They stay fresh longer than they should. You've tended to them with love. Oh! Oh, how sweet! Thank you, sir. Do you have a name, young lady? What's the matter? It's all right, young lady. If you would rather, let's call her Rosa. Rosa! It fits her! I think she forgot her name, or she lost it. The Marquis nodded wisely. A valid point. Are you all right with that, Rosa? Yes. Come on, Rosa. You'll watch me play, right? Her eyes darted from the girl to the Marquis. Oh, Sir Guillie doesn't mind. Guillie? He's really nice to me and my family. And he helps the people around town, too, so he won't throw you out. The Marquis held his right hand in the air as if swearing an oath. I won't. See? Come on, you're invited now. You're my special guest. There's plenty of food inside, too, Rosa. Please help yourself. Thank you, sir. Rosa is coming! Yay! Now this is my first public performance, Rosa. I'm a bit nervous. Catherine scratched her head. What will I do if I make a mistake? Papa will be very upset. The Marquis knelt in front of Catherine and rubbed her shoulders fondly. You won't make a mistake, ma chérie. As long as you put your heart into the keys, play to touch your audience, and any mistake won't matter. Do you understand? Catherine stared at the Marquis. Really? The man chuckled. You will someday. Just play your first song with me in your mind, will you? Something that you think will make me smile. Oh shoot, I forgot. Guillaume? Guillaume? Guillaume. I'm just gonna call him Gilly. Or Jilly. Jilly? Gilly. Gilly. We'll do Gilly. Held Catherine's clear young eyes in his gaze. Kissed her hand. It was covered with sticky sugar and breadcrumbs. That's gross. Catherine blushed. It was the first time she looked embarrassed by anything. It would be my pleasure, sir. Catherine trudged up the wooden podium and walked toward the middle of the stage. The crowd's chatter died down. She curtsied in front of her audience, waved to her father, and stole a glance at Guillaume. There we go. Guillaume. I'm going to say Guillaume. Guillaume. The man gave her a tiny nod. Go, little girl. She sat down in front of the piano, admiring the cream and ebony keys underneath her fingers. Her own piano was broken and beaten. Father had sold his horse for it. Aww. The A3 key never played, and the strings would creak when it was cold. It had never failed her. She knew the keys like they were her own fingers. She whispered to the new piano softly, as if coaxing a beautiful, untamed animal. "Let's be friends, okay?" She saw Rosa, at the far end of the podium, watching her. There was a renewed vigor in her blood. She could hear the keys calling out to her. A song that would make him smile. She placed her fingers on the keys. She began to play. I have to sneeze. I really gotta sneeze. I really have to sneeze. I really have to sneeze. At the ring of the first few notes, it became apparent to the audience that this girl was something special. Here was a little girl barely tall enough to reach the pedals of the piano, playing as if she owned it. There were times she'd missed a note or two, but that didn't matter. She played the song to make someone smile, and it touched everyone present. Her musical skill was far beyond her years. Her fingers caressed the keys as if she was making a flower crown, carefully weaving the petals. She knew the correct way to tie the leaves so they wouldn't tear, like all smart little girls did. As the piano sang under her hands, Catherine seemed to disappear right in front of the audience's eyes. She was just a vision after all, somebody leading them down a dream. A dream of a garden, the springtime, the shade of a tree on a windy day. The couples in the audience tightened their grip on the hands of their partners. Some closed their eyes and let the music saturate their soul. Sweet memories of youth. A first love. The yawn of a newborn. Rosa's eyes shone as she stared at Catherine. Her heart was captured by this image of her. A young girl swayed with her head to the music, smiling as the notes poured out from her. She couldn't take her eye away from Catherine's glowing face. Was this happiness? Was this love? She looked like she was in love. And she was, wasn't she? I ruined the moment! In her innocence, she was still in love with life. In love with her family, with her pets, in love with every new discovery. She was full of hope. It was a bittersweet feeling for Rosa. A happy teardrop rolled down her cheek. She wanted to warm herself in that hope if she could. In the audience, Guellieemee and Catherine's father sat beside each other. Sir Purdy, your daughter is amazing. She isn't she? I mean, pardon my arrogance, my liege. I'm a very proud father, you see. No pardon necessary, sir. Has she found a sponsor yet? The Duke of Versailles. Versailles? Oh gosh. The Duke of Versailles once spoke to me about it, but we have not made any arrangements. Then I must steal her away as soon as possible. Sir, I'd like to be Catherine's primary sponsor if that's all right with you. Why, sir. And to further cement my status, that piano she is playing right now, it is hers. I've bought it for her. Francois's eyes widened in astonishment. That is... Francois gulped. That is beyond generous, sir. Guellieemee, that's what it was. Guellieemee smiled. I must make it hard for you to refuse me, you see. I took the opportunity of asking you outright. You see, the Duke might offer an extravagant piano plated in gold. In that case, I have no choice but to humbly concede. I am kidding. The Duke of Versailles is the worst miser you will ever meet. The men chuckled. Of course, I shall be paying for her musical tutoring as required, along with ample stipend to accommodate your family. You don't have to look so surprised, Monsieur Purdy. Monsieur Purdy. Your daughter is a star. There is an effervescence about her that enraptures the soul. There is no doubt in my mind that she will succeed. Thank you deeply, my liege. Please, call me by my name, monsieur. Let me remind you, this generosity isn't without charge. Her tutoring will be done in my home, and I want to monitor her progress. Apart from that, I'd very much like Catherine to visit me and play from time to time. Music is one of my true passions. Her presence would benefit my Her presence would benefit my mood tenfold. Of course, sir. That is a small price to pay for all of your efforts. On the contrary, monsieur. You don't have to decide now. Kindly think about it. Thank you, my lord. Sir Guillaume. Oh no. Guillaume. I'm never gonna get his name right. After the performance, Catherine and Rosa went to the Marquis's garden to play. Francois Guillaume lingered on their table, sorting all the details of Catherine's further education. Emily Perdee wandered about the crowd, searching for a familiar face. She arrived halfway through Catherine's performance, just in time to gush at her little sister's applause. Unfortunately, she couldn't find her father in the crowd. When she finally caught sight of the back of his head, she approached him hastily. "Father, there you are! I've been looking all over for you." Emily stopped as she saw the man her father was talking to. It was none other but the Marquis himself. She fixed her hair self-consciously and curtsied. "My lord, pardon my intrusion, I didn't realize." Guillaume smiled at her kindly. "You are free to intrude any time, my lady." Emily smiled back. Emile? I don't know how to pronounce stuff. Just as the rumors said, the Marquis was easy on the eyes. "To whom do I owe the pleasure of your acquaintance?" "This is my eldest daughter, Emily. Pardon me for not introducing her sooner." Charmed. Guillaume offered her a seat. Emily sat down across the man. "Well, it seems talent and good looks run in the family." Francois rubbed his neck. "Yes, my daughters are my pride and joy. Thankfully, they both took after their mother." Blah, 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 blah. "Yes, my daughters are my pride and joy. Thankfully, they both took after their mother." "Surely not, Monsieur Perdee. Their eyes are yours. Earnest and loving eyes." Emily snorted at such sappy words. Her father was clearly basking in the compliments. Oopsie, sorry. Didn't mean to hit my microphone there. If this really was the famous Guillaume, I'm just gonna call him Guillaume. Whatever, I'm just saying. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. If this really is the famous Guillaume the rumors talked about, then he wasn't exactly much of a charmer, was he? She didn't know what all the fuss was about. The ladies in the house she worked for could not seem to stop talking about this man. Admittedly, there was something morbidly curious about the way he looked at people. Like he was always distracted, and could only say words that were expected of him. "I'm pleased to have finally met you, sir." "I've heard a lot about you on my travels. All good things, I hope. Depends on the tabloid and the day of the week," Emily thought to herself and chuckled. "You are a governess, I was told. Where do you work?" These are hard to pronounce names. "With a Dmitri household, sir." "Ah, yes. I heard you were marrying into the family soon." "Oh, father, I told you not to tell anybody yet." "I didn't. But you know how people talk. Word travels fast." "Pardon the comment, then, my lady." "Please. Your betrothed is a lucky man, I'm sure." Conversation endured through the afternoon. Small talk, musical composers, their little town, Catherine's musical background, Francois' students, Emily's work. Emily played with her napkin, offering droll opinions on the particularly droll topics. All throughout the exchange, Emily observed the infamous Marquis de Goulle. This was him? The audacious, shameless flirt of the royal court and tabloids. According to rumors, he was able to bed both the widowed Countess of Devonshire and her daughters at the same time. Psst. Ew! If you think about that image, ew, that's gross. And even had a tumultuous, there we go, relationship with the Prince of Garnet. He didn't limit himself to royalty, or so the tabloids said. His latest fling was with an English poet, who they say almost killed him when he was caught with another man. Or a woman. At this point, who knew what was the real and what was the blatant lie made up by the newspapers? She had looked forward to meeting him. And here he was, finally, talking about the sampling of the new bakery's creme brulee. She couldn't say she was disappointed exactly. But the Marquis was a depressingly normal man. Maybe even boring, Emile ventured. She watched as his gaze flickered across her hair and her nose before lazily trailing away. How infuriating. She wondered if he would suddenly say something coy, or insist to dance with her. Just something outrageous. Honestly, so she could shoot him down. This man, whom everyone was interested in. That would be a small victory for responsible women everywhere. But the Marquis was nothing but polite. He did not ogle. He did not touch unnecessarily. No audacious gestures or suggestive winks of the eye. Ooh, creepy. He would not even look at her for more than 2 seconds. Maybe she was not pretty enough to flirt with. Emile bit her lip. She shouldn't be thinking that, but there were also times that he would quietly look into her eyes when the conversation lulled. When the words spoken were without meaning, their eyes would converse further. Oh, hello. He turned into an alien! To Emile, he started to look lonely underneath the facade of caprice. He seemed tired of all the gallivanting, the rumors and the numerous flings. We are all a little lonely, aren't we? Perhaps even he? He invited the family over to the chateau and commented on how empty the building felt sometimes. Music was his guilty pleasure. It got him through the cold nights, he said with a sad grin. How he wouldn't mind a warm soul to touch. And before she could stop herself, Emile had begun to imagine his lips on her neck. On one of those, cold nights. Emile shook her head, trying to erase the thoughts in her mind. They were having a perfectly mundane conversation. She didn't know where those thoughts came from. Fortunately, her father didn't seem to notice. Music and loneliness struck a nerve with Francois Meperdi. He had immersed himself in his music tutoring, his students, and Catherine, ever since his wife had gotten sick. It's been 6 years. But sometimes the nights were cold. For Francois, the Marquis was speaking to his soul. He was a kindred spirit. He wasn't a pompous showboat like all the other royalty Catherine played for. The Marquis even had a wine collection he wanted to show Francois. Such a down-to-earth, generous young man. Emile, Emile, your face is flushed. Are you all right? I'm fine, just the sun, probably. This was not true, of course. The afternoon sun had already lost most of its heat. Thankfully, Catherine provided a distraction. She ran toward their little huddle and flung her arms around her father's torso, chattering happily about gardens and butterflies. A young, ragged girl followed behind her. Emile wasn't sure how old the girl was. Her dirty blonde hair hid the left side of her face. You could just see faint traces of scars peeking through. A surge of motherly affection caught hold of her heart. "Hello there, young lady." The girl looked down at her toes, but she gave her a shy smile. "I see you've made a crown of flowers. You look very pretty." "Thank you, madam." "Catherine gave it to me." "Sister, this is Rosa. She's really nice. She knows the names of all the flowers in Sir Guellie's garden." "Catherine, there you go again with your silly names." "Sister, help me convince Papa to let Rosa stay with us." "Catherine." "Papa, please. Please let her stay with us. She doesn't have anywhere to go." "No, Catherine, that is not very nice." "Rosa, here is a girl." "Oh. Rosa here is a girl. She's not a kitten you can just pluck from the street and take home like you always do with stray animals. Goodness knows we have all the stray cats of France living in our house." "Yes, I know she's not a kitten, and I know she's a girl. But shouldn't we take her home even more so?" Francois sighed. Guillaume chuckled under his breath. He was clearly enjoying this exchange. Your daughter has some very unique views, Sir Perdy." "Well, Sir Guellie, what do you think?" Guillaume's face lost his casual bystander look. "You're a Marquis. I'm sure my father would follow your orders, right? Shouldn't we take Rosa home?" Guillaume's brows furrowed at being put on the spot so suddenly. He stole a glance at Francois. Who was silently pleading him with his eyes not to humor the child. He cleared his throat. Well, I'm sure it's up to your father since he owns the house. He will have to clothe and feed Rosa, you see. Yes, but I've got that all figured out. Ever since Sister moved to work, nobody minds the house anymore. And I have to wash the dishes every time. Ugh! Papa's so busy and we always have enough food for the two of us. If Rosa stays, then I wouldn't be so lonely on my own. She'll wear Sister's old clothes and will mind the house when both Sister and Father are away. She can wash the dishes sometimes, and I'll wash them sometimes. Guillaume and Francois shared a look. And besides, if it were up to me, I'd have people take one girl home in their house and give her food. Girls don't eat that much. Not sure about boys. She thought for a bit. But I'm sure it's not too much that people can't take them home too. One time, I ate one whole plate of potatoes and my stomach hurt. If Rosa was there, I wouldn't have eaten so much. Maybe. Guillaume couldn't help but laugh. Francois rubbed his neck in embarrassment. I'm so sorry, sir. She is very headstrong. Father, I'm sure taking Rosa in wouldn't be much trouble for us financially, yes? My new work pays better. I'm sure we can adjust. Well, about that. Perhaps if Rosa works in my household, it wouldn't be much of a burden to your family, Sir Purdy. Sir Guillie is great! You're truly a kind soul, sir. Not at all. I'm sure I need her help more than she needs mine. Isn't that right, Rosa? In that case, I would love to offer... In that case, I would love to offer my home to Rosa. Although I'm still worried that this is supposed to be more complicated, sir. What about her family or her friends? Are we violating any laws, perhaps? I'm not even sure. As long as it's consensual, sir, the details can be smoothed out later. The girl was quiet the whole time. She was looking at her toes, or at Catherine. Rosa, do you have any family, relatives, or friends you stay with? No, sir. My mother died a long time ago. But she guides me always. So please don't be compelled to mind me. No! Don't go back on the streets, Rosa! It's September, it's gonna be really cold soon. Sir Guillie will even give you work. Stay with us. But Catherine... Francois sighed. Francois sighed in surrender. All right, she can stay for the night. Papa! Just for tonight. Then we'll see if she wants to stay for longer. Catherine, you cannot hold people in their place just because you want them there. Do you understand? If Rosa wants to leave, she may leave. You cannot keep her like an object. Guillaume cleared his throat. That is sound advice, Sir Purdy. Yes, Papa, I understand. Rosa, please make yourself comfortable in our home. Thank you. Papa is the best. Catherine turned to Guillaume again. Sir Guillie, don't you think if everyone had a house... Sir Guillie, don't you think if everyone with a house takes one person home, nobody would freeze in winter? You should make it into a law. They'll obey you because you're a marquis, and because you're tall. Oh, so people obey my orders because I'm tall. What a compliment. Well, you're taller than my papa, at least. You'll never be a marquis. Francois pulled on his daughter's ear with embarrassment. Catherine, mind your manners. I'm so sorry, sir. Guillaume shook his head, his eyes trailing over the Paradis family. Emile watched him curiously. The same sadness once again suffered. Emile watched him curiously. That same sadness once again surfaced for the briefest moment. You have a lovely family, sir. I am quite jealous. You make me want to settle down myself someday. He chuckled. Maybe. Emile's heart skipped a beat. Did he just look at her when he said that? She couldn't be sure. Catherine is perfect the way she is. It is one of the reasons why I'm very invested in her. It is one of the reasons why I'm very invested in her. Guillaume knelt down so that he was eye to eye with Catherine. He patted her head. You are very intelligent and a kind-hearted girl, Catherine. You are a star. I don't know how to pronounce that. Someday I know you will change the world. At least I'd like to see you try. Mother. Help me. My chest. I can't breathe. No. Can't. Catherine! Huh. It's funny, is it not? We're gonna save here, and I'll come back to this again. I didn't think that this would be actually that long of a demo, but it's been just about an hour, so I'll see you guys later. Bye!